Huge crowds have watched Pope Francis celebrate Mass in Sri Lanka, at which he canonized the nation's first saint. The pontiff urged people to follow the example of 17th-century missionary Joseph Vaz at the service in Colombo. The Pope, who has now traveled to a northern region that was devastated by a 26-year civil war, earlier called for the pursuit of truth. Government forces defeated the Tamil Tiger rebels in 2009, but both sides were accused of atrocities. The authorities have so far refused to cooperate with a UN inquiry into war crimes. The previous government consistently denied allegations that it was responsible for the deaths of many thousands of civilians in the final phase of the war. The Tamil Tiger leaders are dead, so the Sri Lankan authorities have portrayed attempts to investigate as a one-sided witch hunt. Hundreds of thousands showed up for the Pope's seafront service at Gallface Green, with many lining up from Tuesday to secure a place. In keeping with his message of unity for Sri Lanka, Pope Francis urged its citizens to follow the example of Joseph Vaz and learn to overcome religious differences. The Pope said Saint Joseph dedicated his life to the gospel message of reconciliation, and showed the importance of transcending religious divisions in the service of peace. The Church usually stipulates a potential saint must have 2 miracles attributed to them, but Saint Joseph has apparently been fast-tracked. He is credited with just 1 miracle, whereby a pregnant Indian woman who was told that her baby was in danger prayed to Saint Joseph and the child was saved. The BBC's Yogita Lime in Colombo says there has been a great deal of enthusiasm for Joseph Vaz's sainthood, not just from the Catholic community of Sri Lanka but also from India's Catholic community. Pilgrims came from all over Sri Lanka, and parts of India, to see the pontiff. Pamela McKay, 64, arrived in Colombo late on Tuesday night from her home about 100 kilometers, 60 miles, away. "What I'm feeling right now, I just can't describe," she said. However, some Buddhist activists have objected to the canonization and complain that the Catholic Church's violent campaigns during its early years led to the destruction of Buddhist temples. Pope Francis' visit is part of a 6-day tour of Asia which will also see him visiting the Philippines. After the Colombo Mass, Pope Francis traveled to Madhu in the north, a region which saw some of the fiercest fighting in the war. In a prayer at a local shrine, he said, "We ask also for the grace to make reparation for our sins and for all the evil which this land has known." The long-running conflict arose from ethnic tensions between the majority Sinhalese and the Tamil minority. More than 1 million Sri Lankans, about 7%, are said to be Christian, most of them Catholic. They include both Sinhalese and Tamils. About 70% of Sri Lankans are Buddhist, with 13% Hindus and 10% Muslims. The last papal visit was 20 years ago, when Pope John Paul II was boycotted by Buddhist leaders. But on Tuesday, Pope Francis met a group of Buddhist, Hindu, and Muslim leaders, urging reconciliation. His visit comes amid change in Sri Lanka, where Maithripala Sirisena took office as president on Friday, replacing Mahinda Rajapaksa. Correspondents say it is not yet clear if Mr. Sirisena's approach to addressing the legacy of the conflict will differ from his predecessor, who is seen as a hero by many Sri Lankans for ending the conflict.